Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel. In this one we are going to take it something just a little bit different to what we normally do. As you can see in the title there is GT Sport Making Up Daily Race C, How Hard Is It? Now after the penalty system, probably the biggest area of gripe in the game is the lack of variety in the daily races. Daily Race C in particular is what we're going to look at here. I think it would be fair to say, certainly not a harsh complaint, if we were to say that the sort of strategic value in Daily Race C in recent weeks and months has been somewhat lacking, with every race essentially being a no-stopper. Last week's Daily Race C was Group 3 at Bathurst. It was very much a no-stopper for the majority of the runners. Before that we had the S2000 race at Laguna Seca, we've had Group 3 at Laguna Seca, Group 3 at Suzuka, Spa, Autopolis, all races in recent weeks and months that have been, there's not really been any strategy involved, it's just been a case of no stopping. The tyre wear's been too low to really make a pit stop worthwhile, or the pit lane time has been too long to make a pit stop worthwhile. So it got me thinking, you know, just how easy or how hard is it to play about with the settings and maybe come up with races that are a little A, original, and B, interesting settings wise, and we could have some alternative strategies and mix things up a little bit. Now I've been doing strategy guides on Daily Race C and for the FIAs for a few months now, so over the course of doing those, I have picked up quite a bit of knowledge in the game in terms of lap times, pit stop losses, and kind of what tracks really sort of wear the tyres out, what sort of fuel settings make you come to the point where you're going to have to sort of either fuel save or you've got no choice but to take some fuel on at a pit stop. Now there's a couple of stipulations in this. PD don't like Daily Race C to go over 20 minutes, so in these races that we're going to try and come up with, we shall adhere to that. So I decided to give myself an hour to play with and see if I could come up with 3 combinations that were both original, had some strategic elements, alternate strategies, and altogether just had the potential to be a good race. So the first one we're going to look at here, I've got the settings on the screen, is Group 4 at Circuit de la Catalunya, 10 laps, tyre wear at _9, fuel at ×5, choice of the racing soft and the racing medium, no tyre requirement, and the BOP is on, and needless to say slipstream is set to rail and grip is also set to rail. So the thoughts behind this one were that I wanted to have 2 very different strategies that could both be an option to use. So going to fuel first, I wanted the fuel to not really be an issue, but to be quite close by the end, just to try and make tyre wear less of an issue if we could, in regards to maybe doing a no-stopper. So the first strategy, the most obvious one, we've got the racing soft tyres available to be a one-stop on the racing soft tyres. But with the tyre wear at ×9 and Circuit de la Catalunya being quite a sort of tyre shredder, the soft tyres really start to suffer after about 3 laps, and definitely after 4 laps. You can see here as we start lap 5 just how severe the tyre wear has been. So in that regard, there's no way you could do a no-stopper on the soft tyres, and by about laps 3 and 4, I think if you were somebody was maybe on a no-stopper on the mediums, the lap times would be start to equalise. Now the reason the no-stopper can work in this one is because, and this is something I've kind of picked up to do my strategy guides, is that the pit stop loss for Group 4 is significantly more than Group 3. In Group 3 the pit loss here is about 67 seconds. We did a recent FIA manufacturers race in Group 3, so we knew that. But in Group 4, as we're about to see here, as we come into the pits, the loss is closer to about 12 seconds. So that's a fairly significant pit loss, which is why I think the no stopper on the mediums could just about work. But obviously you're going to be slower over those opening laps, and then as you maybe get to laps 4 and 5, the lap times will kind of equalise. But then as the one stoppers pit, you gain 12 seconds that way, and you're going to be could be a reasonable amount up the track as the stoppers come back out. They're obviously going to be a lot quicker in the early stages of their second stint and chasing you down. So certainly could be quite an interesting race that way in terms of strategy. So we move on here to the end of the outlap. You can just see we lost around about 15 seconds on the in lap, and we gain about 4 on the outlap. So pit loss, I've not worked out exactly, but that pit loss coming in at about 12 seconds. So I think definitely potential there for the two strategies to work. Be quite close towards the end of the race. Yeah, and I think that's a combination that could certainly work anyway. So we shall move on to our second race that we came up with. We're going to use Group 3 cars. It's going to be Lago Maggiore East number 2, 15 laps, Group 3, tyre wear at ×5, fuel at ×5, tyres racing soft and racing medium. In this one we're going to have the racing medium as being the required tyre, and BOP is on as you would expect. Now the what I was kind of trying to look here was to try and make a race where the one stop and the two stop would both be a viable option. Obviously having the medium tyres being required means that we've got no choice but to make a pit stop. Fuel is also a factor in this one. Not too much of a factor, you certainly could fuel save and avoid taking fuel on, but if you want to go flat out, you're going to have to take maybe about 15-20% of fuel on at the pit stop. So yeah, the thought was this one, if you could either do 2 stints on the soft tyres and then a short stint on the mediums going flat out, or you could do a one stopper where you do sort of pit a lap about 6 or 7, take on another tyre, take on what fuel you need if you have to, and I think because of that it could be a very interesting race. I'm not sure what strategy would be quicker, but I can see both of them being an option. Pit loss in this one's only about 5 seconds in Group 3, so that's why a 2 stopper is an option. So I think as you got to the midpoint of the race, I think it'll be one of those races, to be honest with you, where you'd probably not go in with a definite strategy about how you're going to run it, and you'd have to be changing it on the fly and recording how your race was going. So I think when you get sort of things like that, it becomes certainly make for a very interesting race. So we used the Group 3 Audi for this one. The reason I used that cars are kind of, obviously the MR cars, tyre wear, if it's too high they become very sketchy, very difficult to drive, so that's why we try to keep the tyre wear quite low at ×5. Even then, the Audi becomes a bit of a handful after about 3-4 laps, so maybe in a car like that you'd be kind of earing towards just going flat out, using its prodigious pace, and doing 2 stints on the soft tyres. A much more stable car like the Mercedes AMG would maybe sort of favour the one stop. So we did, that was just sort of why I was testing here, just thought I was sort of just see whether putting a new set of tyres on after 5 laps was actually worth it. It does look like, you know, we've gone 6/10 quicker than our best lap on our first flying lap in the second stint, so obviously we're low on fuel at this point as well. But yeah, I think there's a potential for those settings to create a very, very interesting race in Group 3. Moving on to choice number 3, we're going to choose something a little bit unusual. We're going to use the Group 3 road cars. We're going to use one of the longer tracks in the game, Kyoto Yagamiwa. I'm not going to attempt to say that. Plus Miyabi 2. 7 laps, tyres at ×9, fuel at ×2, no tyre required, and we've got these cars bopped to the N500 level. And this one might be a little bit controversial. but I like to use racing tyres in a racing game, so I'm not a big fan of anything below any of the sports tyres below racing hard. So in this one, the only tyre of choice is the racing hard. So fuel at ×2, that's not really going to be a factor in this one. But I was kind of trying to look, was to try and make a sort of no-stop race kind of interesting. So the tyre wear's high enough just to make the car quite sketchy towards the end, and to sort of benefit those people who are better off looking after their tyres. If you didn't want to do the no-stop, the one-stopper is not a million miles away from the no-stop strategy. Pit loss only coming in at about 6 seconds, as we'll see a little bit later on. So when I actually tested this one right through to the end, just to see how much benefit I could gain from a new set of tyres. So we're going to pit here at the end of lap 4, take on a new set of tyres. We'll get an idea of the pit loss. You'll see it's only about 6 seconds. And yeah, as I said, try to make a sort of no-stop a little bit more interesting, because I'm finding with Daily Race C at the moment, the tyres are just not wearing out enough by the end of the race to really have too much of an impact. So up in the tyre wear to sort of 9. Yeah, it just means that the sort of tyres are going to be, they're not going to be undry, they're certainly going to be absolutely fine to drive on, but you're certainly going to be losing lap time quite significantly. And for that reason, the one stop, whilst I don't think it would be the best way to go, is not going to be that far away come the end of the racing. You could have some interesting racing doing the one stop and chasing people down over the course of the last few laps. So there we go. I spent about an hour trying to come up with these races. The first two actually came very, very quickly. Managed to get the settings kind of what I was looking for, almost spot on straight away. This race here that we're looking at took a little bit longer, and that was kind of to really do with the length of the track and try to fit in the race under 20 minutes. I had to sort of compromise and really just settle on 7 laps, and so it would actually be quite a short race, this one, in all honesty. I think it's only about just under 18 minutes. Did mess about with some other settings, try to use it to N600 and N400, but we ended up settling on N500 and tyre wear at ×9, 7 laps, fuel at ×2. So there you go. I have to say, with a little bit of knowledge, that sort of coming up with reasonably interesting daily races is not that difficult, so I'm afraid I can't really give PD a pass in this one. I think if they got somebody with some semi-creative talent to come up with these races, they would get on a lot better. They could certainly come up with more interesting options than what they're coming up with at the moment. And unfortunately, the daily race C that's coming up, if it's the car I think it's going to be, is just going to be another no-stopper at Lotopoulos, which is unfortunate. I really do think they need to start putting a little bit more effort into the settings in Daily Race C to try and keep the player base engaged. And to be honest with you, where you've got, you can use the same sort of same car and track combinations and really just mix the race up with the settings. You can really change the dynamics of a race purely through the fuel and the tyres. Anyway, I shall leave you with some footage of a rather interesting race I had in this week's daily race here at Nürburgring. That's my thoughts for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, I'm trying to do something a little bit different to what other YouTubers are doing, then hit that like button, give the channel a subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. And I shall see you a little bit later on in the week for a predictive Daily Race C strategy guide for the upcoming race. Thanks for watching, goodbye now, and I shall see you on the next one.